where you are. So this darker roof here is the community where you guys are. This lighter roof here is where the care center is. The project we're going to be presenting in a minute, I'm going to show you some plans, are mostly concentrated on this area here, where the 99 beds of the skilled nursing facility are located. We recently presented we started some work. It's going to be, I think, about a year ago with early studies, sitting with Nadine and Roberta, looking at options on how to develop the care center conceptually. We finally came to a scheme that we presented to the city for initial thoughts and comments from them to make sure we can develop that and be in line with all of the city's requirements and codes. So what you see on the screen here is the set of drawings that we presented as a conceptual development review package. As it states there, it's a conceptual package. It's not a developed project. So there's a lot of things that still need to be developed in the process, but this is the first step that we have taken with the city, and we're in the process of hearing their review comments and their feedback. So just to go through this page, you'll see here is an aerial view where, again, this site here on the right is where the existing community is. This is the skilled nursing facility. What you see in orange is the top half of it would be where the memory care and maybe some of them assisted living rooms would be located. The green would be 6 independent living units that we would fit in that area. The idea is not to demolish the building at all. It's more of a tenant improvement or a remodel inside the building. The blue building is part of this complex, but it's not gonna be part of the scope of this project at this time. That's where all the facilities supporting the pool located next door are. So there's no work anticipated on this area. Just to continue to go with the set of drawings, this is a site plan.
All I'm seeing is an aerial view. I see no floor plans.
This is the site plan. It's an aerial view. Yeah, the floor plan is on the next page. We'll get there in a quick minute.
Yeah. You have a mouse to point to where you're referring to? Because I don't see, where's the blue building?
Let's go back one slide. You see the blue building there?
No, we're not getting your slides.
Are you? Okay.
We're stuck on the aerial view.
Okay, so I'm not sure if this is a connection on my end or your end. You see any changes there?
No.
Okay, Teresa, can I send you an email with the PDFs and maybe you flash them to see if it's a connection on my end?
Sure.
Let me do that real quick. Nowadays, all the schools are online, and I know this for a fact. I called the Spectrum, and they say they're overloaded with the uploading of images and Zoom data. So let's see. Okay. Let's see if you still don't see nothing else but the aerial.
That's right.
That's what we see is the aerial view.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay.
There was a floor plan flashed, but now it's back to aerial.
Okay, so there's a delay, there's a lag on the.
I have a
But-
question while we're waiting for that.
Sure.
What are the possibilities of any changes in addition to what you're going to show us today? And the reason I'm asking that is our gym facility is small. It's inadequate for the amount of participants once the coronavirus is over with, to have larger groups for group exercise and things like that. And there is an opportunity to enlarge that by incorporating what we now know as the transportation desk. And I was wondering if the transportation desk could be relocated to another part of the facility, since it takes up so little space, that would allow our gym facility and exercise facility to be enlarged and really become a much more useful space.
Well, to answer your question, change is expected at this stage, but that specific scope, we haven't talked about including that into this project, but maybe Roberta, you want to talk a little bit more about that? And
right. I think until this question came up in your submitted questions a week or so ago, we had not even considered expansion of the gym. So it is not currently within the scope of this project. Doesn't mean it couldn't be something we look at in the near future, but these drawings have been limited exclusively to the remodel of the care center. So Nadine and I can certainly huddle about that as a future project, but no, it is not in the scope of this project. And I don't think it could or would be added. Doesn't mean it can't be done in the future.
Everybody, if we can just let Diego do the whole presentation and hold the questions until the end. If you have a question, can you please type it in the chat box on the right?
And we are prepared to address all the questions that were submitted in advance. So that was first on the list.
yeah, and Teresa, did you get the drawings?
Yes. So I'm just going to open it and share my screen, right? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, show your screen and
Okay.
and we can go from there. I'm sorry about this connection problem. I guess we're getting used to it. Every day is something new.
Okay, do you see it now?
There you go. So, and here I will be able to mark a little bit, I think. So can you all see the screen? This is the blue building I was talking about earlier, where
It's very, very small and hard to read.
It's too small. Can you make it pop out a little?
and I can explain a little bit what it says on each of those paragraphs. In this sheet, we're basically describing to the city what the scope of the work will be. So on the orange text, if you can, I'm not expecting any, I cannot read that at all, but the orange text is basically pointing out the orange area on the building where all the memory care and assisted living, where mostly memory care beds will be located here. And then the green space, which is the one underneath this area here, that's what this text is explaining, is that this is the independent living units that are going to be located here. It's 6 of them. We were able to fit comfortably. So that's basically what that text is saying there. And then the blue text is just saying that this building, the blue portion of it, I don't want to get too much into details because you might get a little dizzy, but if anybody knows OSHPAT or what that is the jurisdiction that permitted this building originally as a skilled nursing facility. So that blue portion, we're telling the city of Anaheim that will be coming back to their jurisdiction after it is transferred from OSHPAT's jurisdiction. So there's no physical change to it, but there's a jurisdictional change to it. So that's why we need to report it to the city of Anaheim. But that's in short what it says on the blue text. And the brownish colored text is pointing out the perimeter of the area around the care center. And the intent is to provide a fence similar to what is existing already on the other side of the property. We have an existing fence along this yellow line you're seeing. So we're proposing now to add some more fencing and security and perimeter fencing around this edge of the property now, with vehicular access to the existing parking lot, with gates similar to the gates that are currently on the other side of the building, of the property. So that's the, if we can go to the next sheet, we'll see, let me clear my drawings here. So that's a site plan from the top. Again, I'll highlight the area of work. This is basically where all the work would happen. That top half is the memory care, and the bottom half is the independent living. You'll see it on a bigger plan in a minute. So, and all these notes here describe existing conditions, where the parking is, where the existing community is, the courtyards existing right now, the pool. We have the memory care summer house at the ground level on this building. So we are just showing all those to the city so they know what the property has on it. So if we go to the next slide, we will see this is what we call an existing and demolition plan. The layout you see there represents the existing condition where the 99 beds are located. The areas in red are 2 existing courtyards. And this area here that I'm circling out right now, that's the existing dining room that we're proposing to demolish partially for enlarging the courtyard for the new independent living units, which you will see on the next slide. I think, well, in the area that we're going to be intervening here is about 37,000 square feet. That's the rough square footage of the building. Only on the interior for what relates to building, and definitely landscape on the outside. We're gonna do enhancements to the perimeter and the courtyards. So we can go to the next slide now. Okay, so the rooms you see in blue are all the memory care rooms that will flex with the assisted living. All of them are private rooms. There's one room here that is a semi-private, just because the existing condition allowed for a bigger room, and we were able to fit another bed there, and it is also of front porch interest to have at least one semi-private bed here, semi-private room here. So what you see on this square here, that's a large activity, dining and serving kitchen area. So it's all connected. We will see a rendering in a minute about of that area. If you could zoom in a little bit, Teresa, please, maybe on this area, we can just start navigating a little bit to the left and see with more clarity what the plan is showing.
I think I have to download it to zoom in. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, there's a plus sign there.
Oh, here? Oh, here.
Yeah.
More?
Yeah, that'll be good. We can pan. Maybe start from the right side. Let's see. Yeah. Or are you trying to download it now?
Let me try that one.
I mean, it's fine. You can zoom out. We'll come back to it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is on the center of the screen there? That three. That's one of the courtyards in the middle, serving the memory care area. Yeah, if you can zoom out a little bit, I think that will be more problematic there. Let's see. Okay, next one. There you go. Okay. Good. Okay, so if you scroll up a little bit to show the other way, yeah. There you go. Okay, so this is the current entry to the care center. We're keeping that entrance for convenience from that parking lot. It would not be a main entrance, or we wouldn't make a big deal out of that entrance. We'll just keep the same facility, the same design and the same exterior for it. It would be more of a convenience entrance for that area. So from here, you would access to a big lounge area that would be a public area that anybody from the community would be able to use from each side. It's open to the public. It's separated from the memory care, which will have controlled access from these two areas. So you could access the memory care unit from here and from here with delayed egress and all the requirements we need for that type of unit. So once you're into the unit, we will have 30 beds, which are in the blue rooms, some support areas, which are the orange areas here. And this is the dining, activity, and serving kitchen areas. There's sitting areas all over, some here, some around this. These pockets allow for seating along the entire layout, like little front porch to each room. So we're gonna make sure that on the next phases we start looking at it for those opportunities to be resolved. And what else we have here? So this is the central. The design of this unit is thought of in a way that we have like a circuit where residents can walk around and just have some distraction and activity around the interior of the layout. And there's also this courtyard that you can access from both sides. And that's the outdoor space that these residents will be enjoying. So that pretty much is the story of this area. And then if you zoom down, you'll see where the independent living units are located. There you go. So here we have 6 units that are 2 bedrooms each. This being unit 1 here. This would be another unit here. All this. That's unit 2, 1. This is 3 here. 4, 5, and 6 units. And each of the units have 2 bedrooms, its own washer, dryer, kitchen. They have the way the building existed, it already had these pockets or little courtyards. So each of the units will have this amenity and a little private patio for each of the units. And And then this is a big common courtyard that will serve, I mean, it will be for use of the entire community, but it'll be directly linked to these units for sure. So it's going to be an identity. We're going to have a outdoor eating area here and an activity room on the side. So I think that covers everything. We have this lounge area which we talked about, and this is the existing parking lot here. If you can pan out to that side, that is currently parking 20 cars. One of the big conversations we're having with the city right now is all the parking situation. So we're not expecting to modify this area. We're going to have to address some concerns, but we're working with a parking consultant at this point to come up with solutions to fulfill all the requirements that the city has in terms of parking and access. Since we're proposing this gate, we're going to have to comply with some additional regulations and make sure that it's all secure and according to the codes, and of course aesthetically pleasing and in line with what the architecture of the community is right now. So if you zoom out, let's see if we have anything else here on this plan. Yeah, what is the next sheet? Okay, so there's some renderings there. It's unfortunate that I couldn't share my screen because I could have walked a little bit through there, but if you can try to zoom to each of them, we can describe a little bit what's going on. This rendering on the top left, or yeah, this would be the lounge area we were pointing at the right-hand side of the entry to this area. The one on the right side would be, yeah, you can pan over. Yeah, this is the view of the renovated memory care courtyard. Down below, this is how this is the big activity room with the dining and the serving kitchen. Be a long space with some flexible tables and dining area. The one on the right side is the courtyard on the independent living side with some outdoor dining tables and possibly a fireplace or some feature outside so that we can use it on at night and day, or just a good California room. And if you go down below, this would be a typical memory care room. It's very basic at this point, but the idea is to have one bed. Most of them are private with their own accessible bathroom and with windows to this specifically has some views to the courtyard. There's other rooms that have views outside. We're minimizing the rooms on the north side. Some more of the staff rooms and storage and support areas are located there. And the last rendering on the right side is those courtyards that were in between the units, the independent living units, so we can, with some landscape, separate them and provide some independent courtyards for each of the units. So I think that's it. Is there another sheet? I don't think there's another one.
No,
right?
that's it. That's the last sheet.
Yeah. Let me, I can shut my camera off and see if that helps in sharing my screen a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my.
Okay. Let's see. You see my screen now?
Yes.
Is it a little better?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think my camera was a problem. Okay, so this is an aerial view of the project area. Of course, this is the existing facility. Doesn't look like that, but it's just a massing element. We can, let's walk through the door real quick. Remember, this is very conceptual at this point, so there's a lot of details that are missing, but the idea is that you can get a sense of how the space will feel. So once you enter that door, you would either turn right and you could head back to the community there, or hang out in this lounge. Or if you go left, you would go to the independent living quarters of the new project. So maybe we start here. You could, this is that courtyard serving the units, and all the units are on the surroundings of this big courtyard. So we haven't modeled the units yet, so we're not going to get into them, but that gives you an idea of how that quadrant looks like. So if we go back to the entry door here, let's go walk through the lounge area, which is the other side of that entry. This door you see here would be the access to the memory care unit, and this would be, which is going to be Summer House 2, I believe, right, Nadine? Or I don't know if we have a name for it yet. But,
I don't think we have a name for it yet.
yeah. So on this case, what we're proposing is to enlarge some of the windows, bring some more light, and make that space a little a nice space to have as an alternative to other nice spaces that are in the facility. So, and this door is where you go back through that corridor. I don't know if that's the corridor that heads to the pool. You're seeing my screen okay now, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So that lounge area is this area of the plan. There you go. So, okay, so we have some offices here. There's going to be public restrooms for the memory care here. And oh, this is community space. So the reception, that's the gallery we went through. That's the independent living courtyard we would just walk by. And let's go now. We're standing here. Let's head back into the memory care through that door. Let's see the plan one more time. So we're gonna enter the unit through this door right now. So and we're gonna go into the courtyard here. So we're gonna go in, turn left and right, and go to the courtyard. So these are the corridors, a little bit of the seating area there. This is like a meeting room there. And then, well, this is the dining activity area with the serving kitchen on this side. And it will also have all the food that comes from the bigger kitchen will come into here just to prepare it for serving outside. There will not be a kitchen on this place, this side of the building. So from here, you head out to the courtyard, sorry, and yeah, we'll have some good landscape here to embellish this and refresh it. So that's pretty much it. So okay, what else here? So I think that takes care of the plan and the spaces we're proposing here. We have, again, independent living, memory care, little lounge public area, and this is the existing facility on this side.
Hey, it's Roberta here. I just want
Yeah.
to reiterate that our charge to Diego was to take the existing building, the existing structure, existing walls to the best of our ability, the existing corridors, potentially bathrooms and plumbing and electrical, and remodel it as a tenant improvement for this new project. So to me, it's an amazing feat that he was able to basically take what was a 50-room care center and create what you see as 30 memory care independent accommodations and 6 very attractive independent within the existing structure. So that was the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, with that said, I mean, we can run through some questions that were posted and answer them, and then open up for questions a little later after that. That sounds good.
Yeah, why don't you start, Diego?
Yeah, okay. So I have a few here. Let's start with number one. It's, are you designing for differing levels of care? Yes, we're doing independent living on this side, of course, and memory care here. There's the memory care rooms, and maybe Roberto or Nadine, you have more on this, but they can flex as assisted living, right? So that's the plan.
Yes, and Nadine can elaborate on that, but it is our expectation to have them licensed as memory care, secured memory care with assisted living, as an option, which is exactly the way your existing summer house at Walnut Village is licensed.
Okay, and then, okay, to go, question number 2 is about separation of men and women. We're not anticipating doing that. Third question, social space for entertainment and get together. So yeah, as we said, this is the biggest indoor space for everybody to enjoy. This is the an outdoor space for that type of thing. And of course, this is another space that will be more dedicated to the memory care residents. I imagine anyone can go and go there and enjoy that one as well. So question number 5 here. Estimated start date and end date. Right now, we're on the early planning stages. Just entitlements will probably take another year and a half, and then construction. I mean, and this is all a guess I'm making, because you never know how the process with the city will go. But if everything goes well and okay, we see at least a year and a half in entitlements, and then construction is it's also hard to anticipate since we're not contractors. But if I have to guess, I would say another year for that, maybe. So starting date, I wouldn't think anything earlier than late next year. So then will there be any changes to the parking lot? So parking is one of the biggest hurdles we need to get through on this one. We have engaged a parking consultant. He's helping us understand how the community parking is functioning right now in terms of city requirements and counts of parking, and how many accessible parking stalls we have, where we can put our future electrical vehicles, charging stations, which are required per code. So with that type of thing, we're approaching the city with the premise that all the parking that was required for the 99 skilled nursing facility is more demand than what we are what we are proposing now will require. So we're going to need less cars, but we need to demonstrate that to the cities in a good way. Parking is, I understand, is an issue on this facility, so we need to be careful about that one with the city. So
Yeah, I would just add, if we're not successful at supporting our position on parking, underground parking would be extremely expensive and significantly change the scope of this project. So there are still some major unknowns as we move forward.
right, and so to answer the question, I anticipate some layout maybe changes here, but right now we're not sure exactly what would happen. We need to keep as many parking spaces as we can. That's definitely a goal. How long is the entire renovation expected to take? I guess I already answered that. We want to see this happening before end of, I don't know, 2022 probably. That's a wild guess right now. What public areas will be included? Public restrooms, please show in plans. So, well, these are all the public areas, the ones I just mentioned earlier. There's public restrooms here. There's restrooms over here too. So we had a public restroom here, but we felt we were served with the restrooms around. So we should be okay. Okay, will there be individual unit kitchen facilities? Not on the blue rooms, but this would be independent living units with a kitchen, each of them. The appliances will be typical to what Front Porch has been providing. Will modular HVAC systems be created? How many? We haven't engaged yet with a mechanical engineer. We would like to assume that the existing system is we could reuse it, but we don't know yet. I imagine we could. We have to confirm with the engineers. And so more questions on AC, and will each room have separate heating and AC units and controls? I would recommend so, yes. That would be definitely a goal on the mechanical design. Will new heating and AC be installed? Again, we don't know yet. We had a pretty good unit there that should be able to serve and be repurposed, but that'll be determined. What will be done to mitigate noise from street and air traffic? At this moment, we haven't anticipated doing anything specifically for that. Noise is a hard one to fight against. Other than our perimeter fence should help with some of the street noise. Air traffic is a harder one to address. Will there be any skylights in bath or kitchen ceilings? Since we're trying to keep that existing structure, currently there's no skylights anywhere that we could repurpose other than, I think there's one back here, but we're not planning on adding any at the moment. And so I think there's more questions. Maybe Nadine, you want to answer those that are coming next?
Sure. Will rooms be designed only for summer house type? No, it will be licensed for 6 independent living units and 30 memory care / assistant living units. Will rooms be available for independent livers? Yes, there will be 6 independent living units. Will there be assisted living? My insurance wouldn't pay unless it were licensed and meeting certified standards. Would you seek these? If not assisted living, please state the room types, memory, infirmary, etc., and number of units of each. So again, it will be licensed for 30 additional memory care with assisted living and 6 independent living, similar to our current licensure. The care center remodel prior to the Walnut Village reopening in 2009 used the idea of neighborhoods to group 4 rooms around a sitting area for visitors or residents. Will those be retained? There are multiple sitting and gathering areas. What are the new ideas in architecturally supporting memory care residents? 11 years ago, the summer house was built with memory window cases in the entry wall to each room. We're taking into consideration all of the latest and current ideas supporting memory care units design. The rooms with north-facing windows in the care center are darker than the others. Will the remodel bring in more light? We only have 2 rooms on the north end. Staff lounge, storage, and housekeeping are all located on that end as well. Some residents actually prefer less light. Will 1-room apartments be designed to house only 1 occupant? Yes, all memory care are private with the exception of 1 semi-private, and independent living can be shared. Will any type of apartment room monitoring system be included? It's the emergency call system, which is the same system that we're currently using in Walnut Village Independent Living and Walnut Village Memory Care, with delayed egress for the memory care assisted living units. Kitchen. Shouldn't the building have its own kitchen? No, meals will be delivered to the new memory care, same as they are to our existing memory care. Having meals delivered on trays through a trolley is like a hospital. There won't be a tray service. It'll be individual plated service from a steam table. And that completes my questions. I think we're, Roberta?
Sure, I'll jump in. We tried to do a tag team presentation to respond to your good questions as always. So the ones that I have are first about enlarging the gym. Unfortunately, we hadn't thought of that, and until this question came in, it was not considered. Nadine and I can talk, or she can talk with Randy and John, maybe about a future project and put that on the list for sometime in the future. I understand that the gym there is very popular and well used. So again, something we'll have to put on the list. Will the remodel result in an increase in our monthly fees? This is the famous question. As you know, we have annual rate increases every April, and of course those will continue, but those annual rate increases are based on our increased operating expenses across Front Porch, and all residents across Front Porch receive the same rent increase regardless of any improvements at any one community. So I can't predict what rate increases will be next year, but it will not be based on this project. It'll be based on increased operating expenses overall. And of course, once this project is complete and revenue generating, it's certainly our expectation that the revenues will more than cover the costs of this conversion. Next, I have, the estimated cost of the remodel. Again, until we have final drawings and a final approval from the city, we don't go out to contractors to get estimates, especially since we don't have all the answers to all the questions and the comments that have come from the city. If we have major parking issues, that could significantly impact the cost projections. So once we have approved drawings from the city, then we will go out for contractors' bids. That may be all I've got here.
Yeah, there's 2 questions on the chat. I'm going to read it only because people called in and they can't see the chat questions. When you talk about independent living, you mean high acuity independent living. Would that be a permanent change for the people who are moving in there?
Nadine, would you take that?
Sure. So The high acuity would probably apply more to the memory care, I'm guessing, as opposed to the independent living, although it's all going to be licensed as an assisted living.
Can you repeat that, Nadine? I couldn't hear you.
Okay. The high acuity question probably refers more to the memory care unit than it does the independent living. Although the entire, we're proposing for the entire unit to be
We still can't hear you.
We can't understand you.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. Can you hear me? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah,
When Nadine refers to high acuity assisted living, that would be in the memory care assisted living portion of the new project. High acuity assisted living would give us an opportunity to provide care for residents who may need almost skilled levels of care, and within the Department of Social Services regulations, we can meet those needs. I mean, I guess Nadine or I could give you some specific examples, but so the high acuity would be an assisted living. It was not really our intention that would be an independent living. Those 6 independent living accommodations would be very similar to the accommodations that you have in the village now.
Why?
That being said, we have agreed that 100% of the accommodations will be ADA compliant, so bathrooms, kitchens, entryways, and certainly under the state of California residential care facility for the elderly, we are allowed with that license to provide assisted living services in any accommodation, as you know now, through our Truly Yours program. So those 6 units would be under the same licensure and could receive the same Truly Yours services. But a very high acuity with a nurse's station close by would be probably better cared for in the memory care AL unit. But again, AL services can be delivered, as you know, to any one of our licensed units. Does that help?
That question is, what is the purpose of a quiet lounge? Does that mean no TV?
I would say yes. In memory care, sometimes there is a need or desire for just a quiet escape for a resident and or their family members to be there quietly. It could be counseling. It could be a time for them to relax and calm down. Typically, we don't have a television in there. I don't know. I suppose you could and just keep it turned off, but it is intended to be specifically for those calming, quiet moments. And, you know, I did have one other question with my name next to it, which I thought was excellent. Wouldn't it be helpful to visit some of the new facilities and get ideas? So we certainly, many of us are very familiar with memory care and assisted living facilities throughout the country and in Orange County. But more importantly, Front Porch has built 4 new memory care communities within the last several years. Wesley Palms, Frederica, Claremont, and Vista have all opened new or remodeled memory care units within the last few years. So we feel we have a real strong pulse on what those residents and their family members need and expect. And we've done some very innovative programs in our memory care communities, which we will certainly include at Walnut.
Next question is, where would the logical access point for IL residents in the new facility to enter the existing facility for dining, visiting, etc.?
I can show. So the existing residents would be coming from this area. There's currently a hallway here, so this would be the connection point. And if you're visiting the other independent living area, that would be the path. Or you could access from, if you happen to park here, we don't know what's gonna happen with the parking, but you could access through here as well. So those, and this connects back to the summer house here. So, but yeah, the one point of connection would be this door here. Does that help?
Roberta, earlier regarding the independent living accommodations in the new area, somebody's asking, do we need more independent living units? How would those residents interact with the rest of the independent living?
It's a, a very good question. Those 6 independent living accommodations just naturally evolved with the space that was available and the existing configuration of the care center. I know Walnut has had a waiting list, and so never say never, but right now all we could squeeze in was 6. I guess if we put on our thinking caps and came up with some more areas, we could put a couple more. I know the demand is strong. I hope, does that answer your question?
Well, if I can add, maybe proposing that public space in between the 2 buildings, hopefully it's a way of drawing some residents from the existing facility or community to come over and visit, and vice versa, you know, so we can integrate them a little more.
I think the question was, could we even do more than 6 independent living units? And we can look at the drawings again, but I don't know how. And we even talked about making those 6, you could make them into 12 1-bedrooms, or, you know, make them into 9 1-bedrooms instead of 6 2-bedrooms. I guess we had some room, we have some room to look at that there, but at this point, that's just what shook out.
I don't know if she's asking if there should be more independent living units, or she's asking, like, why are we adding 6 independent living apartments into the memory care?
Because we could. Diego, do you want to add? Diego, Nadine?
Well, we didn't want more than 30 memory care beds, and the area was available there, so yeah. we thought it was a good idea to make that, given that there's a courtyard, so those units are going to be nice. So yeah.
Yeah, Robert, I think it definitely fits in that area, and agreed. We've had a wait list for the last few years. Obviously, it slowed down a little bit with the pandemic, but we definitely anticipate it picking back up. But we have had a high demand for more independent living.
And 30 units is, we did talk about it in terms of staffing ratios for memory care and for, you know, nursing care for AL. 30 units is a great unit count for staffing. And we did have a market feasibility study completed to determine really what the demand in the market there is. There is a lot of competition for memory care and assisted living, and 30-ish was about the breaking point.
I forgot about the study, you're right.
Yeah.
The other part to that question is, the people in that area would be outcasts or form their own society. I guess that's a statement.
They could, yeah. It could be their own little club. We at this point, we haven't worried about that. We think the demand is still strong, and it will work out. Those units at this point, we are also proposing that they will not be entrance fee, that they will be month to month only. So it might be a slightly different demographic, and we will then not have to deal with the Department of Social Services Continuing Care Contracts Branch with making those month to month only as well. So it will be a little hybrid over there, but I think there's some attractiveness to it. So
the other 2 questions are regarding getting copies of the floor plans or posting them in the lobby. Is that something that's possible for people to view?
I don't know, Diego. I mean, it's a good question. I think so. I don't have any objection at this point. What do you think, though, Diego? They haven't been approved, which would be the major disclaimer.
Yeah, we just need to look at them as a concept.
Concept.
Yeah. Exactly.
So maybe once they're approved, then we can display it after all the approvals are done.
That could be a while.
Okay.
Let me huddle with Diego and Nadine on that. I think, like, the only reason we postponed this presentation is because there are still many unknowns, and these are very preliminary conceptual drawings. So if maybe we put a big disclaimer on them, we could do that.
That's it for the chat.
Are there any more questions? Bill?
I have a question. Is it possible? I think it's better to have those things in the lobby on display, even if they're not final, so that people are understanding what's happening and are able to follow the transition one way or another as you go along to the final plan, so that people are behind you and following it and understanding.
I'm leaning in that. I'm leaning in that direction. So just let me make sure the architect is okay with it, because they are his plans. So we'll see what.
Oh, absolutely. I think it'd be a good idea to display them.
Okay.
And good feedback is always welcome.
Bill has a question.
It's not a question. It's made primarily a statement as it relates to the design, et cetera, of the redesign of the complex, et cetera. And that has to do with the operating and building expenses for this complex. 10 or 12 years ago, the complex that we're in now was designed with the latest energy, electrical, all those kind of savings that were in effect at that point. And this may be too soon to ask the question. I would just say that I would hope that it would make sense that all new energy saving types of techniques would be included in the remodeled structure, and that it would be designed to be the best of the best of what's available today. Now, I don't mean to bring up a sore subject, Roberta, but the last time you made a presentation here, which was a little more than a year ago, you briefly mentioned that Front Porch was still considering looking at solar energy techniques, et cetera. And now I know that you have moved on. But what I don't know is in the technical design, Diego, of the complex, there has got to be changes that support this kind of expense. In the past, because we are not for profit, the energy credit that we would get back wouldn't be applicable. But in my past experiences, the investment tax credit could go back, I think, to the manufacturer, the company that would install the system. I don't know that for sure. We also, Roberta had mentioned that you were concerned about the placement of the panels, roof structure, all that other kind of stuff. So I would hope that in the design, et cetera, that some of the items that I've mentioned will be included, so that they get the building that is top rated, to be sure that the energy and building expenses are the lowest that they can be. That's just my statement, not a question.
Yeah, I mean, if I may real quick, but we're completely committed to sustainability, not only energy, but water and everything related to it. And the California code is on our side on that. So just by code, we'll have to meet very high standards on sustainability. But with the engineering team, we look into these things early on. We have a sustainability meeting, see where the opportunities to bring this type of measures early on. And some of them might not get through. The budget is always a constraint, but we talk about at the beginning, and definitely aiming to have a very efficient facility. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Oh, and thank you. That's an excellent comment. And even though I'm technically retired, I do know stuff. So I'm pleased to announce that Frederica has signed an agreement for solar to be installed at one of their buildings. So Frederica Manor has a contract underway, and it will be our pilot project, and doesn't mean we won't do it in other Front Porch won't do it in other communities. And in addition, we have retained Cunningham Architectural Group. They have a sustainability department, am I correct, or sustainability consultant that Front Porch has retained to help us look at some of these solar proposals.
Yeah, yeah, we're very committed to it, for sure.
Karen, did you want to ask your question? Karen?
Oh, yes. I wondered what, after this whole endeavor is finished, what's going to be done with the existing summer house space?
Nadine?
We don't have any plans to change the existing summer house space. Obviously, it's needed. We have a good size wait list for it. However, we are one of two projects this year is that we are refurnishing the summer house. So we're excited about that. That's well underway, and we're hoping to have it complete by the end of January. But our existing summer house is not going anywhere.
Nadine, your microphone is almost unreadable.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah.
I can jump in. I do know that Nadine said at least she's doing refurbishment in there are no planned changes for the existing summer house. She has capital funds this year to do upgrades for refurbishment there. And as you know, the challenge is we only have, I keep saying we, Front Porch and Walnut only have semi-private accommodations available there. And the demand from our current residents and prospects is for private rooms. And that's where this new project will meet that need. So no change to the existing summer house.
Thank you.
The next question is, the current care center rooms have courtyards, but the doors are locked, I presume for security reasons. Will the new plans allow for open, unlocked doors?
I would suspect that we want those doors unlocked and people be able to go out at their own leisure. So it's a different situation than a skilled nursing room. So yeah, I would say, yeah, we won't have locks there.
Any other questions?
What? I have one question. I'd just like to say that I think it would be wise to factor in the ability to have a virtual community here, like in any place, anything you build, that people can connect to the outside world in a reasonable way and have good connection, good communication. And because the generation behind me is going to be totally online all the time, and that's the way they live. So, and I can see that there are issues to some extent here with doing that kind of thing. Not so much with having connections, but maybe the extent of the connections.
Thank you for that comment as well. I can tell you at Vista, which is, well, Vista and Claremont, our two most recent new summer house developments, have monitors in each room. So those residents can, to the extent they are able, access the internet in their room. So they have we actually have monitors mounted in every one of their rooms. So, you know, we haven't gotten to that level of detail here, but you're absolutely right. And then there's a monitor, instead of the little window boxes, we have put up a monitor at the door of each of those resident accommodations, so the families can upload pictures and family scenes and travel and memories in a virtual way on an ongoing basis that changes often as the resident or the family can do that outside their door where their memory box would be. So we are aware of a lot of cool innovations out there, and we are testing them and implementing them in our communities.
And we're looking forward to work with the technology group at Front Porch. They're really at the front edge of this thing.
Yes, they are.
That's great.
We have sensory rooms. We have robotic pets. Like I said, monitors indoors and outdoors, and so it'll be exciting.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Well, I want to thank all of you. We apologize for the delay in this presentation. As you know, until Diego had finalized the conceptual drawings and sent them to the city, we weren't comfortable sharing what we didn't know what we didn't know. But it sounds like our next step as an action plan will be to at least give you some copies of these floor plans so you can look at them at your leisure, or if you need a virtual copy, we could probably do that. An electronic copy, we could probably do that as well. But thank you again for your participation and excellent questions.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Very informative.
Thank
Thanks.
you all very much.
Thank you.